Oh, yo! Look who we have here. She's blinking. Luna, do you love mommy? I love your whiskers. Hey crew, welcome to the Spiritual Social. I'm Lexi, your local lightworker. Welcome to installment number 5 or episode 5 from the Unfinished Love Story series. This is a series in which we travel back in time towards the past and the future to try to uncover in the present how can we become more loving, how can we manifest love, and how can we focus on our personal connections in order to figure out more about who we are and how to accept ourselves more. So in episode 5, we are going to look at unconscious patterns that may be blocking your chance to feel love, to receive it, to accept it, to manifest it. This is going to be a deep dive into your personal unconscious so we can come up with beautiful nuggets of wisdom that may help you integrate yourself more, feel whole, and love and accept yourself more. So you can watch this reading by itself just as a simple pick a card because you're interested in the topic, or you can play along, and I highly recommend that you do that. Listen until the end of each choice so that I can give you a color. You need to match at least the same color twice so that you can unlock reading number 6, which will be a color energy reading in which I will utilize the color that you have selected the most to divinate for you and uncover your mythic love story. Thank you so much for playing along. I've been receiving wonderful feedback from you, my loves, related to this specific series. I'm so happy that it helps you. I'm so happy that it distracts you from tougher life circumstances at the moment. We all need a little bit of imaginative, creative escapism, and it is no shame to focus on love during difficult social, political, and economic circumstances. On the contrary, that's when we need to focus on it even more. Okay, all this being said, you know the drill on my channel. I live shuffle from a tarot deck and I pre-select some oracle cards. Today's tarot deck is the Unfolding Path Tarot by Athene Noctua. This was given to me as a gift by one of my lovely subscribers yesterday, so I'm really thrilled to be able to use it. It's almost like it was sent specifically in this period and divine timing so that it can contribute to this series. I cannot be more grateful for it. Thank you to the person who sent it my way. If you want to have a look at the links in my description box, I mention all of the tarot decks and oracle decks I'm using in each reading. There is a link that takes you to my website where you can get in touch with me for personal readings. I have affordable options and a range of options as well. But also, if you want to send me a gift, I have a tarot Amazon wish list. Send me an item from that list, and in return I'm going to create a general reading for you for free, just as a thank you for your generosity. Thank you so much, guys. For those of you who are following me on Instagram and on TikTok, thank you so much for your support, for your love. I share a lot of short form readings there, so if you're curious about that, head on over there. Please help me achieve the goal of reaching 1K subscribers on my third channel, The Spiritual Cosmos. Head on over there if you are an astrology buff. That's a channel in which I publish and I upload all sorts of astrology related topics, and I have 2 series going on there that are very popular, Astro Hunks and Astro Babes, where I look at the birth charts of famous celebrity performers and musicians and actors. So yeah, if you're curious about that, head on over there. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, shameless self-promotion ending. Now I want to show you the choices of these crystals. So I have here for you, group 1, we have here Ocean Jasper. You may not be able to see it that deeply because the light I don't think is that good, but it doesn't do it any justice. It has these beautiful ridges of seafoam green. Now for you, group 2, you have here my favorite stone. It's actually the birthstone of my sign together with aquamarine. This is Amethyst, an amethyst pyramid. For you, group 3, we have another form of jasper, but it's not ocean jasper. This is brown jasper or desert jasper, as it is also known. It has these beautiful patterns that look like eyes. Yeah. And for you, group 4, we have this orange calcite obelisk. These are the patterns that it creates. I love it. I think it emits such a warm hue. So this is for you if you're passionate about the color orange. Take a moment now to look at these options and see which pulls you in the most. If you have made your choice, then I'm not going to keep you waiting. Let's jump straight to your reading. Keep in mind that you have to listen until the end so that you can get your color. Try to be patient with the process and it will reward you spiritually. Okay, if you have selected a crystal, let's jump straight in and find out what are some of the unconscious patterns that may be blocking your path towards love. Hi Group 1, welcome to episode 5 from the Unfinished Love Story series. This is a pick-a-card reading in which we will explore your unconscious beliefs about love. And this is for those of you that were drawn to the ocean Jasper. Do you see the beautiful shadows that it creates? Beautiful. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, I have your oracle cards here, but I am going to live shuffle from the Unfolding Path Tarot, which was given to me just yesterday as a gift from a lovely subscriber. You guys know that when you send me some gifts from my wish list, I have an Amazon wish list linked down below. I am sending you as a thank you for your generosity. I am creating a tarot reading for you guys. Just so you know, in case you feel so inclined and you want to book a reading with me, but you don't have PayPal, because I get that quite a lot. Not everybody wants to use PayPal, or not everybody has PayPal. So that's a cool, fun way to get in touch with me if you want to get a tarot reading. Okay, all of that being said, let's jump straight into your cards. I see here the Two of Swords. God, isn't this card is gorgeous, and look at the color palette, it matches what I'm wearing. Okay, Two of Swords. So you're dealing here with easy distraction. I feel that there is a layer of superficiality. Unconsciously, you are drawn to relationships that are a lot about how you both look together. There is a certain need to be to create a certain aesthetic together. Like, you think about you and your lover and you see the pictures on your wedding day and you want both of you to look perfect, or you want to look in a specific way. Like, for example, let's say you have a boho chic style and you only imagine yourself being next to your spouse that is also dressed in a boho chic way. You can't imagine being part of a different group or being with somebody that is different from you. So that's the first unconscious belief about love. It's like, love should look in a certain way. Love should make me look good. Or my lover should make me look good. My lover should compliment me. My lover should fit into the style of my life as I have created it. Now, we also have here the Hermit, Virgo energy. A need to control and an unconscious desire to actually spend more time by yourself. You enjoy spending time by yourself. You like to work, you like to do research, I feel like you have a lot of hobbies. You may enjoy reading, you may like to do some deep dives, go down rabbit holes, put together facts, solve mysteries, and of course you need space, you need time. You need a certain inclination to be in the zone, and a lover takes you out of the zone. I don't think you had the chance to be with a person that challenges that belief. I don't think that you were so far in your love journey. You weren't given the opportunity to experience a lover that allows you to go down these rabbit holes. A lover that potentially is not so needy, doesn't need all of this attention, and can allow you to disappear for 2 or 3 days while you're doing some research, you're investigating something. Yeah, so I also think that there could be a double standard here, in that you want to do these things, to pull off these disappearing acts on your lover, but it may be that you cannot tolerate this from them. There's a bit of shadow work with you, Group 1. I'm also kind of apprehensive because in your group I had the most interruptions, so I'm kind of waiting for the next interruption to happen. Okay, there's another indication there. You're waiting for disaster to strike. In love, you're on guard. Again, unconscious beliefs. You are not aware of some of these things I am discussing here. This could be all news to you, but that's the whole point. I am giving you interpretations here as I see them from the cards and as I intuitively pick them up, and then you can agree or disagree. If you feel that something rings particularly true, chances are that indeed I have identified correctly your unconscious behavior. If not, feel free to choose another pile. Yeah, I have 3 other options. And also, don't take this too seriously. It's an exercise in self-awareness, but you have control. You know, tarot's not destiny. Also, I see here 3 of Swords. Yeah, you expect for things to become disastrous. You expect for a catastrophe to happen any moment in your love life. I am holding my breath a lot in your reading. I don't know why. Because I'm feeling pretty relaxed. I'm okay. I ate, I'm hydrated, I'm ready to do this. But I feel like I'm holding my breath. I feel like I'm waiting for something bad to happen. Like, when is it gonna come? I feel that maybe you had some traumatic experiences in your life. Not necessarily from your family, but maybe from society, maybe from neighbors, maybe from circumstances, right? And you're bringing this baggage into a love connection. Again, you're not conscious of this. This fear could come up to the surface when you least expect it. You're on the couch, enjoying some downtime with your lover. You're watching television, eating some snacks. And then all of a sudden, the fear comes all the way over you, like a tightening in your belly. Like, all of a sudden you start sweating and you don't know why. Your brow begins to concentrate and furrow and you're like, what's going on? You may have a tic as well, like restless leg syndrome, or you play with your hair, right? Or you may bite your nails or grind your teeth. So all of these things point towards the fact that you cannot fully relax in an understanding that love can't just be, that it can be freely given, freely experienced, and that it can just be something that nourishes your life rather than comes in your life, fools you that it stays, and then walks away from you, leaving you heartbroken and in need of therapy, in need of care, in need of a reconstruction. Another thing I see here with the Knight of Coins, you tend to prioritize work over love. You tend to see that work, making money, having money in the bank, being able to afford your own home, being able to afford clothes, and I did say at the beginning that you have a very peculiar or interesting or unique sense of style that you like to cater to it. And being able to afford all of these things without needing to rely financially on anybody else gives you thrills, yeah, makes you feel good. And I'm 100% in the same bandwagon with you because I love being independent and I love not having to rely on anybody, especially with money. Because, when you have to rely on somebody for money, it can lead to all sorts of power plays. And I guess you too, like I have been on the receiving end of that control. So, it's going to be quite hard, but you should try. And as I'm saying this to you, I'm saying this to myself as well. I see a lot of similarities in your reading to my own beliefs. You should try to open up to the possibility that you can be in a connection with somebody that allows you to kind of not work as a defense against feeling. Because some of the time when we are overly busy, when we work to the point where we exhaust ourselves, it's not a healthy situation. Like, work should indeed be commensurate with your energy input. It should give you a good income that can allow you to live decently or really well off. But it shouldn't be like, reality shouldn't be work. Like if you feel that you come up against these moments where you need to make a decision, I don't know why I'm laughing, it's so weird, it's like a sarcastic defense here. Sometimes I feel like you make decisions, you should make them from the heart, you should prioritize love and relationships, but you don't trust that, so you prioritize work and money making, because that to you feels safe. That to you feels like something you can rely upon. When the proverbial shiz hits the fan, you know that you've got a savings account that you can fall back on. While if your lover cheats on you and ends up breaking your heart, what can you fall back on? right? I think particularly what irks you the most is hearing the trad wife narrative of being a person that completely hands over control to their spouse, and this spouse, while being able to cater to their lifestyle and giving them a lot of economic stability, they can also destroy the life of that particular trad wife when they pull that economic net away from them. For example, we've heard cases like a husband marries a beautiful young wife, they have a lot of children, and then he cheats on her with a younger secretary later on in their relationship, and then he separates, he divorces, she is left with the care of all the children and with mounting debt while he is off living his best life. You know, these are really, really harsh circumstances. These are stories that a lot of us hear, and they shock us into hardening our hearts, going like, that's horrifying, that's horrible, that's horrifying, that's horrible, that's horrifying, that's horrible. Yeah, you see, there's an emotional knot here. Okay, good. So we hear of these things and they scare us. They scare us into not loving, not trusting, not giving our hearts fully. But I do believe that in these kinds of relationships, the red flags are there from the beginning. It's just that the spouse tends to make compromises. The spouse knows that the situation is not something that they should walk into, and they walk into it nonetheless. And then, you know, a lot of trauma happens. And that's a learning curve. That's a string of karmic lessons that each one of us has to go through. Anyway, to make the long story short, I see here that there is this unconscious belief thinking that love will not feed me on a rainy day, but money will. And to a large extent, that's a very pragmatic, realistic viewpoint to have. Indeed, love nourishes us emotionally, while we can only buy food with money, right? Or we can grow it ourselves in the best case scenario. So there are some of these beliefs that are related to control, that are related to I do not trust. But let's see, how can we heal them? The 6th house, routine. So again, Virgo energies. We had the Hermit here. Virgo energies. You could have planets in the 6th house, karmic planets. Saturn in the 6th house. You may have Mars in the 6th house. The Sun in the 6th house. I see here a North Node in the 6th house, and Jupiter in certain cases. We also have here the Siren. Use your voice, expansion, and freedom. A lot of freedom, right? And then we have the Ancestor of Skill. Okay, here's how things can go down so that you can heal. First of all, invest in developing a specific skill. Learn how to do something so well that you can sell that skill for a good income. For example, you may really feel drawn towards sewing. You get a sewing machine, you practice every day, you become a really good seamstress, yeah? And then you get hired for a really large fashion company, or you open up your own business, and you just attract a lot of clients because you are consistently good in your work. You are honest and transparent, and you do a good job, right? You put in the effort. Now, in such a scenario, if you genuinely practice a skill by doing something you love, nobody can take that away from you. And indeed, you may be afraid that you will not be able to divide the time that you put into your work and in your skills with the time that you have for your private life and family. But you will find that that decision will be made by itself, because you will naturally want to rest and relax. You will naturally want to spend time eating with your family, eating with your lover, being together, surrounded by loved ones. So, try not to rely on getting into connections with partners who you feel that they should provide to you, and try to control them in that way. But rather, create your own financial dependency and then allow another person to love you. That doesn't mean that you have to allow them into your savings account. That doesn't mean that you have to hand them over your credit card and just allow them to do whatever they want with the money you have worked so hard to earn. But it just means that you should have honest, open conversations about love and finances and how things are divided in your personal connection. It means that you can definitely do something you love and also have a partner that loves you, not necessarily only for the work that you do. I feel that a lot of you unconsciously identify yourselves with the image of the worker. This is 6th house energy. I work in the service of others, but I also identify with my work. I am my work role. When in reality, you are more than just that. You're not just a professional. You're not just a worker. You are also a sensual being. You are also a person that exists as part of a family, a person that exists as part of a community. And you need to start seeing yourself in this multiple way, because you tend to have a very unidimensional view of yourself, and this is why you keep attracting hardship in love. First of all, you see limits where limits shouldn't be. Like, I can only do work or love. I cannot have both in my life at the same time. I do not have the energy for it. How about reducing the hours you put into your work, trusting that you will be provided for, and just allowing love to nourish you enough so that you have energy to do the best job that you can do. Sometimes when we take some time to rest and be with our partners and relax with them and spend some quality time with them, that energizes us even further to do even better work. And sometimes when we keep working for hours on end, we exhaust ourselves to the point where the work that we're doing is not good because we make a lot of mistakes because we are exhausted. So you see how this works? You can challenge those unconscious beliefs by believing and challenging yourself to believe, I can find the work-life balance. Being in a connection with somebody doesn't take away from my freedom. It allows me to feel even freer. Because then if I have a partner, I have somebody that can help me from time to time. I can delegate tasks to my partner. We can figure things out. I have another person here next to me that I can talk to that could suggest and recommend solutions, alternative ways of seeing a specific subject. If you're just by yourself, all in your head, it's harder because in spite of the fact that you have all the control, you often need a second opinion. And you may need to go and seek professionals to give you second opinions. And when I say professionals, I don't mean just counselors, but I mean all sorts of people. Like you need to go and talk to an accountant. You need to, do this and that. So having people near you and allowing them to love you doesn't necessarily lead to this. It can actually lead to this: freedom. Feeling like you're more relaxed, like people have your back, So you're learning how to be skillful in love, how to allow people to come towards you, how to work at intimacy. You may have Saturn in the 8th house, or Saturn conjunct Venus. Okay, this is the reading that I have for you. I'm not going to make it too long. I just noticed that it's quite long. I always intend to make these readings short and I just expand upon them. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sure that you're very curious to find out what your color is. For you, my beautiful Ocean Jasper crew, I have here, this is Moon Gray. For a second I forgot what color it was. Yeah, it's weird. So Moon Gray for you, my Ocean Jasper crew. I hope that you have selected this color in a previous reading. If not, go back and rewatch the series because the next episode, it's actually going to be a color energy reading. For some reason, I'm a little bit tired after your reading. I hope you're doing okay. Take good care of yourself and I cannot wait to see you in episode 6. Ciao. Hi group 2, welcome to episode 5 in the Unfinished Love Story series. So this is a reading for those of you that were drawn to the Amethyst Pyramid. And in this reading today, we are going to uncover the unconscious patterns that could be sabotaging your love energy. We will see what comes up. So I have here the Unfolding Path Tarot. Again, I'm picking up on this energy of finding it very hard to focus, being all over the place, being erratic. Could Could it be that Jupiter in Gemini is really affecting the collective in such a way that we're all in two minds at the same time, all the time? We're kind of like on to the next one. We haven't even finished what we started, right? Okay. Coming back to your energy, I'm going to ground. Let's find out. What are some of the unconscious patterns? What are some of the unconscious beliefs about love? So, we have the Hanged Man, Neptune, a sacrifice. We also have the Emperor, Aries energy. We have here the King of Cups blocked. And we also have, oh gosh. Yeah, we have the Nine of Swords. It's not as bad as other cards, but still, Nine of Swords, it's not something you want to see in a love reading. So, I see very clearly that one of the things that is sabotaging your love life and your chances of success in love is your desire to leave things up in the air. You leave a lot of things hanging. It's hard for you to make clear, direct decisions. A lot of people get frustrated. They're trying to date you, they're trying to reach you, and you may not even be aware that you're doing this. In your mind, you have everything very organized. Of course, it's a defense mechanism against this behavior. You feel that your behavior is polite, you are, very orderly, you feel like you've communicated to your person of interest what you felt, but most of the time this is an illusion. I feel like you need to take more action in your personal connections. You tend to just leave things floating, hanging. In certain cases, you may even ghost a specific person or just not answer, stop answering to their questions or to their conversation. I feel some of you do this because you may be afraid of conflict. Some of you are highly intuitive and you can pick up when a situation is moving towards a disagreement. You may also attract a lot of aggressive counterparts because you're not comfortable with this energy of aggression. You're not comfortable with Mars energy. So you attract a lot of domineering partners because you want them unconsciously to take the lead in this connection, to make the decisions for you, to tell you what to do and how things are gonna go down. And you believe that this is how things should be between partners. There is an ingrained traditional belief here that is making you miserable because I feel like you are this emperor, but you're not rising up to this occasion. You need to make peace with the man within you. So you may be a woman, but we all have an animus and an anima, a collective archetype that relates to what we think masculinity and femininity is, and we internalize that and we tend to play it out in our personal connections. You at your core are an alpha female. You are like this really powerful emotional leader, but you don't see yourself like this because you can't allow yourself to think in terms of leadership in love. You tend to be quite fierce, I think, in your professional life, or you have more confidence in that playing field, while in your personal life, you want to be led. You want to have another person come in and do all the action, do all the seducing, make all the decisions, and you're just like there, like a pretty participant. Again, you may not be aware of these things. In your mind, you could identify with the personality of a worker, like a professional being. You think you've got things under control both at work and in your love life. But in your love life, I see here renunciation, sacrificing, like you're sacrificing yourself for an unknown cause. I see people competing over you because you tend to begin relationships in a flirtatious way and you leave people hanging, not knowing exactly, do you want to be with me or not? Are we doing this or not? Where did you disappear? What's going on? And on a certain level, you think that you're doing the right thing by not being clear-cut with somebody because you don't want to come across as domineering, but you're actually creating more chaos than you think. And you end up hurting people by not being this leader and saying, look, I don't want to be with you. I'm sorry if you got the wrong impression, but I just feel like I need time for myself at the moment. Like, if you were to be honest and clear and just blunt, but in a charming kind of way, not really hurting the other person's feelings, but just like letting them know how it feels, you know, how it feels for you, then you stand a good chance of actually having more success. Of course, there will be people who are going to be emotionally immature and they're going to take it very personally if you reject them, or they will interpret your honesty as a sense of rejection. But we all get rejected all the time, both in love and in other areas of our lives. So if that person reacts in a very childish, dramatic way to you just expressing honestly how you feel, then chances are that person reacts in most areas of their lives in that way, and you get another confirmation from spirit you did a good thing by detaching yourself from that person. The thing is, what needs to happen here is you taking more control in your love life and not being afraid. In your mind, you think that if you are direct, you are domineering. Maybe you grew up in a domineering household. You don't want to be like a domineering mother figure. Maybe your mother felt like she was the aggressive counterpart in the family. She had to do all the work. She had to make decisions. And you don't want to be like that. You want to be different. In some cases, some of you have a very difficult relationship with the mother, yeah? Sleepless nights, worries, anxieties. Why is she doing this to herself? Why is she doing this to us? So you have to heal. You have to heal that relationship inside of yourself, accept it, and then accept your own domineering tendency and aggression, because we all have this animal side inside of us. We all have this instinctual, competitive, kind of like fierce nature inside of us. We're all capable of violence. You just need to be aware of the side. You don't need to start punching and hitting people, left and right, because yay, somebody told me I need to accept my violent tendencies. No, you just need to be aware of it. I too can cause harm. I too can be domineering. I too can be violent. Yeah. And get in touch with some of the memories that kind of describe some of these feelings, because if you're not going to acknowledge this, your shadow is going to grow to such an extent that it will push lovers away from you. Even before you open your mouth, people will feel the energies like, whoa, this person has a lot of aggression pent up. And in your mind, you'll be thinking, no, I'm never violent. I'm never aggressive. How come? But people will feel that. People will feel what you are repressing. So the way in which you can challenge perceptions about love and these unconscious beliefs about love that could be sabotaging your chances of happiness and of living the love of your life, I feel first of all, you need to be very open and honest with people, with those around you, about moments when you feel low, when you feel tired, when you feel angry, when you feel jealous. There needs to be some acceptance of all of these difficult feelings, and you need to do it in front of other people. You've been hiding this negative side of yourself for far too long. I feel like you're this kind of person who cries by themselves in solitude, who locks themselves up in a bathroom, instead of actually showing the people in your life, hey, this hurts me. Hey, you cannot treat me like this. Hey, right now I'm really pissed off, or right now I'm very jealous, or I'm not feeling comfortable, or I'm really afraid. I need to calm down somehow because this is really making me frightened or uncomfortable. Putting these difficult feelings into words is going to help you have different outcomes in your personal relationships. People will start seeing you as a whole human being, not just a pretty object. If you keep nodding and saying pleasing things and being sweet and kind and accommodating all the time, it's first of all exasperating, and it will make people react with violence towards you. And second of all, it's going to just make people start doing things to you just to see if you can react in a different way. Like they may start verbally attacking you and disrespecting you. They may cheat on you. They may steal from you, just to see, are you still going to have this kind of Zen-like attitude? And you may think that, why is God doing this? Why am I being challenged? Because you're challenged to become more of yourself. You're challenged to become holistic. Your challenge is not to be a perfect angel or a Buddha monk sitting on a cloud. Your challenge in this lifetime is to just be yourself. That's your task. That's why you incarnated here. Let's see your oracle cards. So we have here the wishing well, unexpected gifts, kindness, and karmic jewels. Hey. We have the ancestor of exile. And we also have here, oh, here it is. Here it is. Grandpa Saturn is coming into our love town to spoil the fun and give us all a fine for raising our voices and partying too hard. So in this case, Saturn is about the truth, honesty. This completely reaffirms what I've been saying so far. Being honest, being completely clear, honest, being focused on what is actually going on in that situation. For a good example of how this kind of like negative energy can come towards you, in spite of the fact that you're doing your best to be on your best behavior, look at what's going on right now with Blake Lively and the negativity that she's receiving. She's a North Node in Aries, so she is supposed to kind of embody a very serious, very kind of leader-like vibe, and to truly start putting into action certain values and beliefs that she has, to work to defend them, to work to communicate them with other people. But what she does is she hides behind her relationships, behind her husband. She hides behind her kind of superficial pursuits, like the way she looks and method dressing and her hair care brand. Nobody needs another hair care brand, right? Nobody needs like this kind of vibe of, look how beautiful I am. We've seen that. We've seen that from other celebrities as well. And while beauty is something to be appreciated, in her case, she really needs to stand up and defend certain beliefs, certain values in her life, so that she doesn't come across so vapid and superficial. So I feel that there may be a similar energy playing out in your own life as well. And by the way, I also share that placement with her. I have a North Node in Aries as well, and I can tell you I've been challenged as well whenever I became too passive or too codependent or too focused on how I look and so on and so forth. So I feel that for you, for something to change here, my love, you have to do things by the book. Don't skip steps, don't rush. Saturn will reward you if you put in the inner work. Identify some of your blind spots, patiently listen to what your partners have to say. And I also feel that there is a fear of conflict, a fear of instinct, a fear of reacting on the spot, of impulsivity, of sexuality. These fears, you need to overcome them slowly in time, maybe in certain cases with therapy. The wishing well tells me that the more you overcome each fear, the better your relationships are going to be. The less limited you will feel, and the more payoffs you will receive. Karmic jewels. So it's kind of like I overcome a fear, and most of your karma tends to be playing out at an emotional level. You could have Saturn in Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or in Sagittarius and Aries. So if you're able to overcome these harsh emotions related to the way in which you express yourself in personal connections, you will be rewarded. A wish of yours will come true. A deep desire of yours that you have the courage to acknowledge will manifest itself. Solitude is going to help you. Your ancestors may frequently push you into separations from the objects of your love, because you need to spend time in solitude working on yourself, unpacking this fear and reaching with these really beautiful gems. It's like gems of wisdom as well. It's like, now I understand why I behaved in this way. With the benefit of hindsight, by not being so focused on the other person, by being by myself, I actually understand what happened now. Now I see it. I had some time to process it. Some things happened. I had some conversations with other people. Okay, now I get it. Why did I react in that way? Some of you have a North Node in Capricorn as well, or your North Node is conjunct Saturn. So slowly in time, with a lot of patience and effort, you understand that at the root of a lot of your issues in love lies fear. A deep fear of being known, of commitment, of lovemaking, of sharing yourself with somebody else or getting intimately close to somebody else. Deep fear of being betrayed, a fear of being humiliated by the person you love, of being used. Yeah. So this is the reading that I had for you, my love. Oof, I felt like it was a bit heavy, but it's like we did a mini therapy session. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments how you feel this went. But before you go, I'm sure that you're curious to find out what is your color if you've been playing along with the series. And I have here the color for you. We have burnt sienna. I have a feeling that burnt sienna was the choice for a lot of number 2s, but yeah, I don't know. Go back and replay through the series and let me know if you make the same choice. The next reading that's coming up will actually be an energy reading, so we will no longer have cards. Okay, looking forward to that. Take great care of yourself in the meantime, and happy inner work. Bye. Hi Group 3, welcome to the 5th episode in the Unfinished Love Story series. Today we're going to explore unconscious beliefs about love that may be interfering with your love vibe. So this is a reading for those of you who are drawn to the Desert Jasper crystal. It is huge. I think it's one of the biggest crystals that I have. Generous energy, being larger than life, being drawn to partners that are very massive in some way, maybe even physically. They could have like a lot of muscle or like force, but it could also be that you're drawn to people that could be wealthy or well off, people that have like a star-like quality. Yeah, you just like big things, big people, big situations. Okay, so keeping this in mind, I have here the Unfolding Path Tarot. Let's give it a quick shuffle and see what could be sabotaging. Should I say it? Okay, I'm here to let you know that you have a special physical preference. You may want your partners to be big in the intimate department, or have a specific form of their intimate organ needs to look in a certain way for you to be pleased. And this is one of the first things that interferes with your capacity to establish intimacy, true intimacy with somebody. There's a hang-up here. There's a physical hang-up. You feel like you can only get turned on or experience pleasure in relation to somebody that fulfills a certain physical requirement. Yeah. In certain cases, this could be you like to be in a connection with somebody that has BDK energy, you know? Okay, so let's see. We have here the Empress. We have here the 5 of Wands. We have here the 6 of Wands. We have here the High Priestess. I'm going to be blunt, okay? Because we see it here. In certain cases, the mindset that you are a queen that deserves everything, which is healthy to have, especially after women have been battered down by the patriarchy for so many centuries, thousands of years, right? But I feel like it got to a point in your life where this queen mentality, this Yas queen vibe, is interfering with your capacity to truly get to know somebody and establish intimacy with them. There is unconsciously, you may be doing this, you're not aware of it, okay? So we are all starting from the premise you have no idea that these things are happening in your personal life, and I'm only pointing these things out to help you understand, because I know I would love somebody to tell me what were my patterns so that I could improve and change my personal circumstances. And indeed, my therapist does that, so yeah, I'm grateful for it. Now, coming back to you, you're very beautiful. You're financially savvy. You've got a lot of things working for you. But I feel that you may have been consuming too much social media and too much of this Yas Queen content that can be quite empowering, but it can also lead to emotional immaturity and just cutting people off or not having time for other people because they don't see your proverbial majesty and worth. Sometimes it's good to be a little bit modest in personal connections. You find out a lot more about yourself if you adopt the attitude of a listener, right? A person that generally just wants to solve an issue, wants to cooperate, wants to make the other person feel good. It's not always about somebody else bringing something to your table. It's not always about somebody worshiping you with compliments 24/7. Be mindful of this energy, because I see that this Empress mentality can interfere with your capacity to give and to receive love. It can put a lot of people off. People that you thought had potential, right? A lover that you are very drawn to can suddenly disappear from your life or turn away from you, and you're left thinking, what happened? I thought everything was going well. Well, it's because they came in contact with this Empress shadow. They may have thought, oh my God, you're so arrogant, I can't even get through to you. And you're here thinking, but I'm living my best life. So I want you to keep in mind the difference. It's not problematic that you are living your best life, but absorbing too much of this Yas Queen mentality can lead to blocks in your personal connections. So just tweaking it a little bit, finding the flexibility to be modest in certain moments, and then Yas Queen in moments that actually require you to have this oomph, this boost of confidence, right? Because unfortunately in our day and age, we tend to be so stuck in a specific role, because most of the work that we do, especially on social media, wants us to just be one cardboard thing. It wants us to be a cartoon version of ourselves, a unidimensional version of ourselves. If you're multidimensional and if you have a variety of different interests, you have to start a channel, a new TikTok account, a new Instagram account for each sides of your personality, or each kind of measure of your creativity, because saying that sides of your personality sounds a little bit like multiple personality disorder. But you can have a lot of interests, right? You don't necessarily need to have just one thing and do that thing really well or very often in order to earn a lot of money. But this is the algorithmic economy, right? Okay, so I see that you also pick up a lot of fights with people. You may say certain things that end up hurting other people because you want to win. You are not aware you're doing this. There is a certain competitiveness about you. There could be moments when people come to you and without even realizing, you could be like, yeah, but I can do this better, or yeah, but I got a better score on this. Yeah, but have you tried something I did instead of your opinion because mine had better results? It can be something very small, like you're wearing clothes from a better brand than somebody else, and you're suggesting them without reading the room, without understanding that the person that you're recommending the specific expensive item of clothing may actually not be able to afford it. Maybe it's their rent for that month, while you on the other hand are able to afford it. So it just comes across as out of touch, right? And you can enter into conflicts with people because of this. Yeah, people could just irritate you or come at you with hate or negativity, and you're like, where does this come from? I was just trying to help, right? I'm just living my best life, being my glorious, victorious self, doing everything I can to just be awesome. But people tend to love and feel attracted to people that also show vulnerability. It's not always like a pageant show where you need to be on your best behavior with your great smile all the time, perfect hair, perfect nails, perfect makeup. In spite of what social media tells you, reality is very different than that. Sometimes people treat you with more respect and they are more eager to help you if you look a little bit more vulnerable, look like you're going through a hard time. They're able to empathize with you because they also feel fucked up and they've also been through a lot. So then they can extend the branch of compassion. It's like, I'm going to help you because I know I've been through the same kind of issue. But if you're constantly on this Empress vibe, Empress mode, if you're constantly more or less consciously telling people, well, I did this and I did that and I'm awesome and I get that, and nobody can relate, nobody can identify, you know, and gradually Lovers pull away. Friends start looking at you like, this is weird. What's going on with you? It's like nobody can reach you anymore. You're like high up on your soapbox. So this could lead to conflict, separation, issues in which all of a sudden you find yourself not being able to communicate, not being able to be understood by other people. So it's a humbling moment. And if you feel that life keeps humbling you, it is because there is this unconscious dark Empress shadow that other people feel that you lord over them. You're not doing it with intent. I'm not saying at all, Boo, that you are mean and, arrogant. It's just that lovers tend to see you in this way from time to time. And this is what sabotages a potentially good romantic connection from achieving the goal that you wanted to achieve. Just so you know, so that you may do this inner work of integrating these parts of yourself in the hopes that you'll be able to just reduce conflict and feel better and not have people thinking that you're arrogant when in reality you're not. Your intent is to live your best life, is to be financially successful, is to look the best that you can, is to become a spouse, a mother. And I'm saying feminine energy here because you see the Empress, right? Taurus energy also talks about being able to have a lot of resources, right? But other people may perceive you as greedy. So this could be what blocks love from being given and received freely in your love life. The fact that many people feel that you take without giving back. Okay, so just as I was about to wrap up that message, because I felt like it was quite harsh, we got interrupted, the battery completely died down. So I hope you're doing well. I hope I haven't drained you of energy with these messages. Once again, you may fall asleep or these messages may kind of cross over your head because you may not be ready to receive them. Doing work with our unconscious can sometimes get us to have these really bizarre reactions because we may not be ready to process consciously the contents of our unconscious. Just to keep that in mind. You may need to come back and listen to this reading at a later point in time. It will make more sense to you. So I had here the High Priestess. This is Pisces energy. A detached approach, a humble approach, an approach in which you listen, you wait, you think before you speak. This is something that can really, really help you in personal connections. I also feel like you have a lot of wisdom and you're not putting it into words as often as you should. You can share with people some of the difficult things that you had to overcome in your life, things that have brought you to you embodying this Empress role. The more you talk to people about some of the difficult circumstances that you had to overcome, the more they will begin liking you. The more you talk to your lovers about such things, the more they will begin to empathize with you. You are too afraid to put into words your failures, right? You're too afraid to come across as weak or vulnerable. You have certain hang-ups connected to those specific aspects. Maybe you were shamed in the past by the people that you love the most for showing vulnerability. So you vow to yourself, I will never be weak. I will always look strong in front of everyone, not just your lovers. But that's not how you allow people to get intimately close to you. There needs to be a dance where you are strong in certain moments and then you are kind of letting go and being more vulnerable. Then you flexibly adapt to your partner's responses and see where the journey takes you. Yeah. Let's see your oracle cards right now. So we have here the Shaman of Courage. We have here the Pluto card, Transformation, and we have Clear Waters. What was I saying? So clear vision, confirmation, right timing, and opportunity. Hunt down opportunities that allow you to be brave enough to show people that you too can be vulnerable, that you too had to transform, that you too had to undergo hardship. This will help your lovers relate to you. This will help your friends come to you and understand you better and support you. Right? Try not to put this prim and proper, perfect face all the time because people will not believe it. I feel that, yeah, you do need to have the courage to be yourself fully, to show people that, not everything is working out perfectly in your life. You tend to portray this image of perfection. and it is working against you. It's self-sabotaging your love life. Believe it or not, it's kind of weird, because you would think, well, if I put so much effort, why don't people admire me, love me more? Because sometimes people feel attracted to vulnerability. Sometimes people feel attracted to downtrodden stories, right? The rags to riches story. That's why it has such an enduring appeal, because most of us come from hard circumstances in life, and we don't really believe other more luminous, more well put together narratives. We want to see how you got there, because this gives us all a hope of becoming like you. While if you're too high up, it's like nobody can reach you. We just give up. It's like the expectations are too high, right? So it's the same in personal connections. I also feel like you tend to, one final thing I need to say here about sensuality. You tend to see sensuality as something just for yourself. You don't really see it as a means to procreate life. You may think that you want to become a mother one day. With the Empress here, clearly you want to have a family. But you tend to either be afraid of birth or afraid of how birth is going to change your body. I do think that you see sensuality, the intimate act between two people, as just something that is meant to give you pleasure, right? You see it from a hedonistic point of view. You don't see it as, well, I need to put more effort into intimately connecting with my partner, because lovemaking is also a way in which I communicate how I feel to my partner. Lovemaking can also be a way in which we can bring a being into this world. So there needs to be a change in how you view sexuality, in how you use it as well. Clear waters just tells me that you will find the right opportunity to create a powerful, lasting change in your love life. And the transit of the planet Pluto is going to give you more clues. It could be that Pluto has just begun transiting your 7th house, your 8th house, your 5th house. So your love life is about to be rocked to its foundation and inevitably changed. So you will go through a number of romantic moments of awareness that will bring you fortunate realizations, moments of deep courage that can allow you to be yourself and be accepted fully for who you are. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry if this was too long. I have here your color. You've been waiting so patiently for it. Well, for you, group 3 is metallic copper. I hope that you've been playing along. If not, go back and rewatch the series, because this is the final card reading in the series. The next one is going to be a color energy reading. I will be using your color to interpret signs and symbols and to share with you your mythic love story. So see you then. I cannot wait to create that one for you. Take care of yourself in the meantime. Mwah. Hi group 4, welcome to the 5th installment in the Unfinished Love Story series. I'm so happy to have you here with me. This is a reading for those of you drawn to this orange calcite obelisk. Okay, so it's pointing at you, or you can see it as a hexagonal image. Oh, that sounds a bit posh. Why did I say that? Okay. Messages are already filtering through. Today we're going to uncover unconscious beliefs that you may have about love that could bring a lot of hardship in your love connections. So I have here the Unfolding Path Tarot. I'm going to give it a quick shuffle just to see what the tarot cards are. And then I'm going to be combining it with the knowledge from the oracle cards to see what exactly are those beliefs. How can you change them just by becoming aware of them, and you already have the upper hand. Okay, the cards are here. First of all, I need to say that there is something stuck in your energy. I had some hummus with carrots in between your group and group 3's reading, and something got stuck in my teeth. And I was like, I tried to get it out, and I was like, oh, come on, what's going on? It's like you feel stuck or pressured to achieve love by a certain age. You are riddled with deadlines. You have a plan for love. And this need to organize and parcel love is blocking love from coming to you. It's blocking you from relaxing enough to experience love as a gift, as something spontaneous, something that is given to you just because, that you don't have to work so hard at. You just meet an individual, and that is a beautiful, beautiful encounter. And then you work at the relationship. Indeed, you work at maintaining the connection but you don't need to work so hard to attract love, yeah, to have that initial encounter. And another thing, it wanted to come, but then it slipped my mind. Forgetfulness. Forgetfulness. You tend to go through a couple of karmic lessons in love because you haven't synthesized the lesson. You're forgetting. You're forgetting why you had to go through all of that pain. Okay, the cards are the following. We have here the Eight of Wands. We have here the Chariot, the Strength card. We have the Five of Swords, and we have the Magician. Okay, so I can barely see. Yeah, seeing things clearly, opening up your eyes and seeing the other person's perspective. You are afraid that other people in your personal connections can overpower you. And in reality, you are a very powerful person. You also kind of have like this witchy vibe about you. You can be quite intimidating with all of the things you know. So there's no need for you to fight over who's right and who's wrong. There's no need for you to play out this domineering energy. It's very strange because I feel like I was giving group 3 the advice that they should be more dominant, but with you it's the opposite. You tend to hide behind big words. That was the thing that I forgot. It's coming back now. So you see, once you confront certain beliefs about yourself, you start remembering. Some of you may have gone through such a traumatic event that you have PTSD and you're struggling to remember certain things from your life. You could black out. You could literally black out in moments when somebody wants to get intimately close to you, wants to kiss you, wants to, you know, have an intimate evening with you. When emotions are involved, when your emotions are stirred, you may just all of a sudden tune out. You have to understand that your words are very powerful. They are like spells that you cast onto somebody else. If you bless somebody, or if you curse them, or if you convey information to them, your words generally have the potential to change that person's perspective, the decisions that they're making. You can be very persuasive. But at the same time, yes, I do feel like you hide behind big words. Whenever somebody tries to get closer to you, you start speaking in academic ways. You feel that people should not get so close to you very quickly. You feel somehow threatened if a person is too eager to be with you, but you should do that to them. You are allowed, on the other hand, to be impulsive. And you sometimes tell yourself that, it's okay, I was so impulsive, or I'm such an impulsive person. But it's actually a behavior that you need to take more seriously, because this impulsivity is creating a lot of drama in your personal life. So take yourself more seriously and try not to project these issues or double standards on your personal, on like your lovers. Because you may accuse other people of being so rushed with you. It's like, why are you rushing? Why are you pushing me? Why are you being so like jumpy all of a sudden? But then you do the same things and you're not even aware that you're coming up with excuses for yourself, while you don't excuse the same behavior in a lover. So you may judge your lover for being too rushed, for trying to get ahead, for being too competitive. It's like, you're always rushing. But when you rush, you're telling yourself, I'm just so impulsive all the time, you know? Obviously, you're not doing it in this way, but that's just to enhance the dramatic conveying of these messages. So clearly there's a need here to balance out how you see yourself. Yes, how you see yourself, because I wouldn't advise you to criticize yourself more. But I think in certain cases, when you could be a bit more honest with yourself, you're being lenient and you're encouraging bad behaviors in your own self. Does that make sense? While you are being quite harsh with other people's bad behaviors when you notice them. So you could just ignore them, or you could notice them and not say anything. But sometimes I think you say certain things that could really take down the other person. So they don't want to have anything to do with you because you can be quite harsh in your speech. Very judgmental. And the thing is that they already have a very good opinion of you. They know that you are powerful. The Magician is all about willpower. But you may use your power over other people in destructive ways, and that's why they stay away from you. That's why they decide, you know what, I had enough of this connection, that's it, I'm gone. I'm done, I don't need this criticism. Because to a large extent, love isn't the act of looking at a person and trying to think how you can perfect them and improve them. Love is about accepting somebody. Right? I love you. I love your vibe. I love your interests. I love the things you like. I love the things you dislike. I just love you, you know? I just like to spend time with you. I may disagree with you. I may not always come to you for opinions or ask you certain things. I may do some stupid things from time to time. But I feel like you are the person that is like almost like my best friend. Almost like an individual that I can be myself next to you, and I can allow you to be yourself next to me. So we have here with the Chariot and the Strength card, Cancer and Leo, a very warm-hearted individual. And I think that what happens with this energy, when this energy appears in the zone of your unconscious behaviors, in your blind spot, it's like you're not aware of the fact that people tend to perceive you in... Just give me a second, because I'm picking a very contradictory energy over here. It's kind of like you're very harsh with your words, but there is something very playful, warm, and childlike about you. So people can see you as a child one moment, or childlike one moment, and the next moment they can see you as a punishing parent. It's like in a personal connection, you unconsciously take either the role of the child or the role of the parent. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is part of the therapeutic work of Eric Berne and transactional analysis, like the roles that we play in the personal connection with somebody else, that you can be parent, child, adult, and depending on how the other person, like there's a sketch. Check out Eric Berne, transactional analysis. You will understand deeper what I'm trying to say here. But unconsciously, we can take on the role of a parent, a child, or we can be the adult. Most of us need some sort of inner work before we can fully embody the role of the adult in love. So I feel like a lot of the partners are drawn towards you, you know. You attract love very easily because you are so powerful. You have this witchy vibe, you're playful, you're sexy, you're hot. There's very warm energy here, warm heart-based energy, creativity. You know, people see you and they think, oh, life of the party, you know, we can have a really good time together. Or you make me laugh, you know, you may not be such an extroverted person, but you make people laugh, you make them feel at ease. Yeah, you really flatter their ego, you really make them feel powerful somehow. Like, life is filled with opportunities. Like, we can be a little bit silly right now. But then you cut them down. You cut them down and they don't know what to think anymore. It's like, whoa, I thought you were accepting of me. You know, I thought we were playing, you know. Why are you so serious all of a sudden? Why are you cutting me down? Why are you criticizing me? Where does this energy come from? And then they may leave you quite quickly because they don't know what's going on. They think that you're somehow lying to them. Like there's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde side to you, you know, like you flip from one role to the other very quickly and they feel scared. So on some level, you need to understand that your lover also needs to be made safe in a personal connection. It's not only you that requires safety or that requires attention, but you have to think, how much am I enabling this in the other individual? How much am I helping the other person feel seen, feel safe, feel good and powerful? Am I taking from their power? Am I humiliating them on purpose? I don't think that in your case this happens on purpose, to be honest. I think it's deeply unconscious, and I think it's an adopted behavior that you saw growing up. You may have been brought up in a household where the mother was always fighting with the father, and they were taking each other down by saying really harsh, sarcastic things to one another. The parents may have been both emotionally immature. They always prioritize their own feelings over and above yours. They never gave you attention. They always looked the other way when you came to them seeking advice, seeking some sort of emotional nourishment. So this in turn kind of made you feel defensive about love, defensive with words. Sometimes you're too much on guard, like you're waiting for the person to say something that triggers you wrong, and then you cut them down just so that you can have the upper hand. And that gives you a momentary feeling of power, but it usually leads the other person towards leaving you or doing something against you that could take from your power as well. Like they may unconsciously, and in certain cases even more with intent, they may do something to get revenge, like slander you in public, spread malicious gossip, or do other worse things, right? Cheat on you, steal from you, all sorts of things. Okay, so let's see the oracle cards. So we have here the Dancer of Frustration. We have here the Lady of the Lake. Wow, okay. New beginnings. Something is about to happen. And we have here the Yod, the Destiny. The Yod is this aspect that is being created between three points or planets in our birth chart, and it's a point of considerable tension because a lot of the energy that these two other planets are stressing falls on the shoulders of this point or this planet. It's also called the finger of God because it's like God is pointing towards that direction. It represents a point of incredible stress and forcefulness in a person's life. So whichever planet is affected is under duress. So check in your birth chart to see if you have a Yod. I also see here that indeed you are not aware just how frustrating your energy can be to other people. You're not aware, right? You are out here loving, living, doing as best as you can, standing by your beliefs, but people perceive you as being some sort of like schoolmaster in your love life. Some of you are educators and you're bringing the energy from your professional role into your love life. And part of the way in which you can heal this is by becoming more aware of your professional and private roles, moving between them with flexibility, with the desire to adapt. I see very clearly that you're also becoming increasingly aware of these things. So for most of you who are here, you already know these things. You're becoming conscious of them, and I'm just giving you confirmation, yeah? But I see that most of you are working through this frustrating energy. You feel frustrated because you're not getting what you want. Your partners feel frustrated because they see these weird behaviors from you. One moment you can be kind and loving and warm and playful, and the next moment you can be cutting and judgmental and like mean. And you don't see it as that. You see it as, I'm just setting things back to right? I'm just telling you as it is. I'm being honest. I'm standing by what I believe in. But it's not a TED Talk. It's a love connection. Yeah. So you're becoming increasingly aware of this, and I feel that some of you are also seeking help to try to understand why these things happen to you. Why do you feel so much pressure in a love connection? A lot of you are under this kind of like weird energy where a lot of things happen in your personal life and you're not aware, or you don't see. There are a lot of things you're not conscious of, or you have these moments of, I can't remember. You may be having Pluto transiting in your 7th house, Venus conjunct Pluto, Scorpio energy in the houses of love. Some of you have Saturn in the 11th house, or a stellium conjunct your North Node. And it's kind of like you have these moments when, something appears to the surface, you're making sense of it, and then whoop, it's kind of swallowed by your conscious mind, and you don't know anymore. And it comes out as something that the other partner can see, but you don't. So, healthier dialogue is recommended. Healthier dialogue and getting off your soapbox. I'm sorry, I need to say it. putting your foot down and coming to the same level as your partner. There is no competition here, my love. There shouldn't be any competition. Competition, power play, fear, all of these things are eating up at the fabric of love. What began as something beautiful can end into a whole like nuclear explosion level mess, you know, of projections and things that are unprocessed and things that were repressed and blind spots upon blind spots. So in order to avoid that, find a way to flexibly move between these areas, between what you know and what you have yet to learn. Have the humbleness to know that you can't really tell everything. You will not be able to explain everything. And that in personal connections, you too can be impulsive and greedy and lustful and act without reason. It's not just the other person. No? You too can use power and the power you have over a lover for bad. Yeah. Remember, tame that impulsivity and it will lead you towards a more fruitful love connection. Thank you so much for listening. I do hope this hasn't been feeling like too much like I'm clubbing you on the head with these ideas. I know that you've been very patient. So here is the color that I have here for you. This is your raw umber. I think this is going to be one of the best colors that will help me do the color energy reading. Usually colors that are darker give the better color energy readings, just as a side note from a technical point of view. But I really like it. It's making me think of chocolate. It's making me think of espresso. And it's something very grounded, very safe, right? Like earth after a rainfall. So this is your color. Thank you for listening. I hope you have enjoyed this series. If you haven't received this color at least twice, go back and rewatch, make the choices again. And yeah, I hope to see you in my next one. Next time I will not be using cards. It's all going to be color. So see you then. Ciao.